You are listening to a free version of the Majority Report with Sam Seder. To support this show and get another 15 minutes of daily program, go to majority.fm, please.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
It is Monday, May 4th, 2020. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps and steps and steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, from New York Magazine, David Wallace-Wells on the Corona timeline in an age of failed leadership. Meanwhile, Phase 4 relief mired in a liability fight. White House is blocking Fauci from testifying to Congress. That's weird. Meanwhile, 7% of mortgage payers have chosen forbearance. And surprise, Georgia reopening, killing people, but not attracting business. Meanwhile, the Mississippi governor reverses an opening after record deaths peaks on that same day. Tara Reade accusation still being debated, but the latest Biden accusation debunked moments after it's made. Trump fires his Health and Human Services Inspector General, who had the audacity of reporting hospital equipment shortages. Dems and Republicans on the Antitrust Committee called for Jeff Bezos to testify after they were lied to by an Amazon lawyer. And meanwhile, apparently there is, or rather was, one honest person in the Amazon C-suite. And lastly, just like that, Canada bans assault-style weapons. All this and more on today's program. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Hope your weekend was okay and safe, and that you didn't come across too many of those jerks who refuse to wear their masks when they are out in public. Super easy to do. I just saw a stat that if 80% of the people wore even just cloth masks, which is about 60% effective, right? N95 is 95% effective. Cloth mask, 60% effective. If 80% of people did that, then the RO, I think it is the RO, is that what we call it now? I don't know. We'll ask David Wallace-Wells. He will know. But the communicability of the disease goes below 1. So in other words, every person who has it will give it to less than one person, and then things would wrap up rather quickly. If 80% of the people wore masks that were 60% effective, that's what it would take. Apparently that's a math problem. But it's also I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Can I say douchebag problem? It is. I feel like it's a douchebag problem. I mean, I think there's an equal amount of ignorance and an equal amount of just actualized ignorance. People who just like bathe in their ignorance. But hopefully people will smarten up a little bit more. I doubt it. We've got a lot to get to today. Let's do this clip. One of the things that we one of the stories that we have here really with this is that one, the virus is what the virus is. There was always a certain inevitability that this was going to be difficult. America is a tricky place in many respects because it's less cohesive of a country than many other countries. And to the extent that it's equally as uncohesive as other countries, our government has less authority, or we all choose to have our government to have less authority. Fortunately, we have the right to choose that, to enforce cohesion, as it were. But one thing that is that could have mitigated this whole problem that we're having now is if the administration had taken this seriously. If they had taken it seriously starting 2 years ago, and it's not just this administration, it's the whole Republican Party, their whole perspective on things like public health is an anathema to them because they hate the idea that we as a body politic, as one body politic, as a public, as a government, as a society, can actually influence things in such a way that it benefits everybody. It is contrary to their ideology. So when they see someone sitting on the National Security Council who's in charge of coordinating pandemic response, and there's no pandemic, they say this is a waste, and so on and so on. And then when we are hit by a pandemic, the only thing they think is like, well, let's bet that this thing blows over. I mean, this is the model that the administration used is like one where we see, you know, a corporation saying, okay, we're dumping this stuff into the water. We know it causes cancer, but we're making billions of dollars a year profit. So let's just keep doing it. And, you know, if we get caught, which is not a guarantee, then we just pay it off. That's the cost of doing business. That's what was going on at the beginning of of this whole thing. Here's Larry Kudlow. He is on with Jake Tapper as late February. Remember, we all went basically in the New York area. We went basically underground, as it were, in mid-March. And here's Larry Kudlow back in, on with Jake Tapper this weekend, but trying to defend what he was saying in February, late February.
Apparently got in the doghouse for saying in a conference call, doghouse with President Trump, they're saying in a conference call that it was not a matter of if, but when there would be a severe disruption to the American people and our way to live life. And that's the same day, as you know, that you said this. Let's roll that tape.
We have contained this. I won't say airtight, but pretty close to airtight. We've done a good job in the United States.
So I guess the question is there a disconnect between what people such as you who want things to be better than they are so as to help the economy are saying and what people in the health field are saying?
Well, look, Jake, for the umpteenth time, I will say my quote then was based on the actual facts, which at the time there were only 40 or 50 cases, and it was contained, particularly after President Trump boldly put up travel restrictions with China. That's what I didn't make a forecast so far, and that was just, there was hardly any cases. Okay, now, yes, some doctors were more fearful. Other doctors had many different things to say. I don't want to get in and play this game, who said what and when. Political leaders, one well-known political leader in the House went to Chinatown in San Francisco and said everything is okay. Okay? One important anchor on your network as late as mid-March said basically the COVID-19 virus was no worse than an ordinary flu year. I mean, there are people saying, my quote was, at that time, there were very few cases. Then, as the virus spread exponentially in ways that virtually no one could have predicted, of course, we changed our mind. Going forward, the president and the vice president have taken strong measures, step by step by step, okay? Strong measures to deal with this unexpected outbreak. And I think, you know, the sort of ankle biting that's going on in Washington is just incorrect. You have to deal with the information at hand. When the information changes, you change. We changed our strategy. So did everybody else around.
Wow. That, incidentally, was at like 9 a.m. in the morning. in many respects, we're all Larry Kudlow now. I think probably the liquor sales are through the roof, as it were. But Jesus. The word contained, Matt, you're the host of Literary Hangover. Maybe this is appropriate for me to ask you.
Okay.
When you say contained, what you're saying is that it can't get out, right? I mean, you're not saying our numbers are low right now. You're saying we've actually put it into a container, if you will.
Sort of confined within something.
Confined. We've
within
confined
limits.
it. In other words, we've stopped its spread. And Larry wants us to believe that, well, the reason why he said that was because this was before it spread so much. And I think he doesn't understand what the word contained means. But I think he does, and I think he's lying.
Yeah.
They blew this. They made a bet that they could get away. That somehow that wasn't serious. That the American public wouldn't care, or whatever it is. Just an abject failure. And so I understand why Kudlow is in a position that he would be slurring so significantly that time in the morning on a Saturday, or really any day. I guess it was Sunday. But no, they didn't contain it. And no, and worse than that, they have been promoting these protests to push governors to open up early, and I think we're going to pay the price of that. It's now early May. I think we're not going to know till mid-June just how much of a price we're about to pay as a country in terms of the American people, but we will find out soon. Meanwhile, as you know, folks, times are a little tough. Harry's still there to help you look your best while saving you a little cash along the way. Harry's has your grooming needs covered, and listeners can get a Harry's trial set delivered to their doorstep by going to harrys.com/Majority Report. Harry's is a return to the essential. Quality, durable blades at a fair price with blades as low as $2 each, delivered straight to your doorstep. Harry's has a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, they give you a full refund. Plus, 1% of the proceeds set aside for nonprofit healthcare-oriented organizations. And to help support those who need it most right now, Harry's is donating $1 million worth of shaving supplies to hospitals across the U.S. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. I guess I've been using it it's been a while since I put my Harry's blade to test. As you can see, I have my coronavirus beard, if you're watching this. However, right here and here, right on my cheeks, I have been using Harry's. Very effective there. But I'm also contemplating getting rid of all of it. Like, I'm just thinking like full body shave. That's where I'm. And if I do, I will be doing it with my Harry's razor in part because of its weighted handle. And of course, its more narrow shave head. Listeners of my show can redeem their Harry's trial set at harrys.com/Majority Report. You're going to get a weighted ergonomic handle for a firm grip. You're going to get a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade. Rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated. And a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy to grab on the go. Go to harrys.com/Majority Report to start shaving better today. That's harrys.com/Majority Report today. Also, a reminder, you're stuck at home. You've watched just about everything in every single queue that you've had. You've binged on all the programs. Well, ExpressVPN protects your privacy and security online, but you can also use ExpressVPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries. Now that so many of us are stuck at home, it's only a matter of time until you run out of stuff to watch on Netflix. But you could use ExpressVPN to binge shows like Doctor Who on a UK Netflix. You can just fire up the ExpressVPN app, change your location to the UK, refresh Netflix, and bingo bango, that's it. ExpressVPN hides your IP address and lets you control where you want sites to think you're located. You can choose from almost 100 different countries.